Excellent, excellent. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 4th Annual New Jersey Youth Transitions Conference. My name is April DePietro, and I'm the Community Resource Director at the Camden County Care Management Organization. We are thrilled to have you here with us today. We are excited to introduce our wonderful presenters from Project Search. They will be discussing preparing young people with disabilities for success in competitive, integrated employment. Thank you to our presenters and for sharing your insights and expertise. Let's give a warm welcome to our presenters. We have Mr. Solo, Renee, Peggy, Darlene, Patricia, and Stephen with us today. So the floor is yours, guys.
Good morning again. Thanks, April. That's a great introduction. Again, my name is Solo Okonkwo, one of the state Project Search liaisons. We are so glad to be here. So on behalf of New Jersey Project Search and the panel here with me here today, we are so glad to be here, presenting at this great conference, the New Jersey Youth Transition Conference. Next slide. No, this is the last one. No. No. Can you start from the beginning? Okay, let's see. The next one. Okay. Yeah, the panel. Oh, it's still moving.
One more. Are you able to see the screen?
Yeah, I can see that. It's okay. Just like April mentioned, we have the panel of presenters, and she called the name from Renee, who is one of the Project Search liaison too. We have Peggy Chapman from the Yale School, the director of Yale School, and we have Erin Ross. Erin, actually, I can't see you on the video, but Erin is from the administrator of Hudson County Office of Inclusion and Accessibility. We have Darlene Anderson, Project Search Coordinator of Yale School. Of course, we have Eric, who is joining us today, an instructor in one of our sites in JC Medical Center. And we have the graduate interns, Stephen and Patricia. I will now turn it over to Renee.
Good morning. Thank you so much. Today's presentation, we have a lot to talk about, and it's very exciting. We have the origins of Project Search. Project Search is a national program that partners with a lot of different agencies within the state of New Jersey that provides a really immersive work experience that's very different from some of the work-based learning experiences that happen in school. We also want you to meet some of the graduates because the outcomes of these programs are so exceptional, and the graduates just love to speak about the skills that they've learned and the work experiences that they've had on their journey. We're also going to talk about the eligibility and have question and answer section. So what is Project Search? I could talk about Project Search for quite a while. Everyone on this panel is very passionate about this 1-year, 10-month program for adults and students with disabilities. For individuals that are in high school, we're talking about someone that has already reached their graduation requirements, or adults between ages 18 and 35, so that they can participate in a total workplace immersion program. This includes internship rotations throughout a host business, with customized job search assistance that results in placement in competitive integrated employment. The program not only provides this wonderful experience at a host business, including those different internship rotations that allow participants to gain foundational work skills, but it also provides ongoing support services once the program's complete, including but not limited to job coaching, long-term follow-along, vocational counseling and guidance, potential transportation services. So it's an exceptional program that really provides this well-rounded foundation of employment skills for individuals with disabilities. Next slide, please. We'd like to show you a brief video about the origins of Project Search, how it's grown, and what some of the outcomes look like. If you could please play the video.
However, Edie's journey to getting hired at Fifth Third Bank's central file room is different than most. She has a disability, autism, but that didn't stop her from pursuing her goal of getting a full-time job after high school.
I've been using good organizational skills, being part of a team, and giving good eye contact.
Edie joins a growing list of graduates from a program that started at Cincinnati Children's called Project Search, the brainchild of Aaron Riley.
I was the nursing director of the emergency department here at Cincinnati Children's, and I happened to look out in the lobby and was struck by the fact that many of the people coming to us as patients were people with disabilities. And yet, when I checked behind the scenes, there weren't many opportunities for these young people to grow up and continue to be involved in Children's as employees.
Aaron partnered with Susie Wachowski at Cincinnati Children's, and together they came up with the Project Search curriculum. It focuses on young people with disabilities between the ages of 18 to 22. In their final year of high school, those students leave the classroom and move to Cincinnati Children's or another host business to intern for the entire school year.
Many of the young people have had low expectations for them from family members, from schools, and we have to change that in a very short period of time. And so we're looking at things like grooming and hygiene, communication, problem-solving skills, independence in time management.
Project Search is an intensive 9-month course for a group of 10 to 12 students that involves a combination of classes, skill assessments, skills training, and evaluations from a team including the instructor, managers, and skills trainers. Each day begins and ends with an instructor keeping them on track.
We would do a lot of reflection in Project Search every day. At the end of the day, we'd come back and I'll ask them, what did you learn about yourself today? What can you take from today and improve tomorrow? Because I feel like that's so important.
Today, Project Search is beyond the walls of Cincinnati Children's and has expanded to more than 500 programs across the U.S. and the world.
Our overall employment rate among all of our programs is 75.5%, and that makes us one of the best, if not the best, transition program in the United States.
We understood that individuals with disabilities through Project Search is an untapped market. It was an untapped recruitment stream that we could have access to, bring them in, train them on the types of jobs that we have, give them the skills needed so that they can transition into permanent employment. And we've seen great success with that here at Fifth Third. We've also seen great success with employment in the communities as well.
Also expanding the variety of jobs, Project Search graduates now work in a range of industry sectors. Cengage, an educational services and publishing company, recently joined the growing list to offer not just training and marketable skills, but opportunities for career growth that includes benefits, incentives, and retirement options.
I'd love to run all my employees through those classes. I would, about budgeting and about money and how to handle difficult situations. That life piece, combined with being in a real life work environment, is what makes Project Search completely different than anything else that I've ever seen. And that's why those folks are able to make that transformation and be successful.
A key part of the success is definitely that both sides see and learn something new about the other.
Changing the culture of families and the general perception of people with disabilities is what Project Search is all about. Just ask Edie.
My favorite thing about coming to work every day is getting all the work done and being on task.
To change the culture of businesses and organizations, to change the culture of just the general public about the perception of people with disabilities and what they can and can't do.
I'm awfully proud that because of this hospital and Project Search, there are thousands of people with disabilities working around the United States and the world that wouldn't have been otherwise had it not been for this program.
I think that you can see the passion in everyone in that video that just shows how exceptional the program is. The program touches every individual that comes through it, from janitorial staff to CEOs. And I've seen that in my time with the program. It's just wonderful. Next slide, please. Currently in the state of New Jersey, we have the first 4 sites were launched in 2016 across northern and southern New Jersey. It was such a success that the program has now grown to 16 program sites across 11 counties, and it is the goal to have this program in each county of the state. In 2024, we had one of our programs was the first place award winner for the New Jersey Social Innovations Awards, which was sponsored by the Social Innovation Journal. And annually, every year, New Jersey Project Search programs are recognized at the National Project Search Conference for their excellent outcomes. Next slide, please. This is a brand new visual that we have. This is the first time we're introducing it, but I think that it really excellently displays the Project Search programs across the state. We have this program in urban areas, in rural areas, and you can see that we do cover a pretty large geographical area of the state. So you don't have to reside in the county that you would like to attend the Project Search program. So if you're on the cusp of Morris County and you're interested in attending that one in Warren County, these programs are open to accepting individuals from outside counties. So this is a great depiction of where our current Project Search programs are and where we are still looking to expand our program to. Next slide, please. I know that there is a really large, diverse group of individuals on this program today, and you've been dealing with individuals that may have challenges, barriers, for a very long period of time. So it's very rare to see a program that has this exceptional blended partnership. With the Project Search program, we are all working together for success. And in this, you will see state agencies, local agencies, partner agencies, everyone coming together to support the success of each of the interns in each of the programs. So we have local and county governments, local education partners, school districts, community rehab partners, Division of Developmental Disabilities, families, Division of Vocational Rehabilitation Services, and we all circle around the intern, the star of the program, and we all support the success of those individuals in completing Project Search. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Peggy.
Good morning, everybody. Great to be with you. Great especially to see 2 of our graduate interns joining in with us. If we were to give you 2 key words that kind of summarize what the Project Search program is all about, it would be workplace immersion. Because in the 10-month internship program, interns become part of the fabric, the culture, the workplace family of a premier host business. And within that business, they are gaining work experiences, and they're also gaining instruction to meet their person-centered goals. They report exclusively to the host business at the start of the day, and they end their day at the host business as well. They participate in 3 unpaid internships. And in those internships, in those the company's departments, they're getting continual feedback from their department managers, from their mentors, from Project Search staff. And why is that important? Because that kind of feedback is really what generates self-awareness for the intern. Helps that intern realize, as they explore these different departments, what are their interests, what are their abilities, what are their talents, and what are some of the areas of improvement they might need to address. In the third rotation, we're able to move into the job development phase where interns are able to really take ownership of their own aspirational employment goals. They determine where they would like to work. That might be in the company or in the community, and then they go for it. They complete applications with the help of our partners at DVRS. And then after they are successfully employed, they receive coaching and follow-along services. The goal always is to help each individual reach their aspirational competitive employment, meaning what they would most like to do to be productive and contributing members of society. Next slide. So what would the annual project search calendar look like that would encompass 3 distinct internship rotations in 3 different departments within this premier host site? Well, it begins with a 3-week orientation period in September. That helps the interns acclimate to the company, do all of the onboarding that the employer would require. And then it also enables the interns to get to know the departments, meet department managers, determine what priorities they might have for working in one department over another. The first internship is 10 weeks long. The second internship is 10 weeks, as is the third. So you can see that the interns are really immersed in 3 different departments in the course of the year. Between each of those 10-week internships, there's a transition week to kind of decompress, but also to prepare for that second rotation where they will need to adjust and change gears because it would be totally different skills. The important part of project search, as I mentioned, raising that self-awareness and continual feedback, really does involve employment planning meetings held throughout the year at the middle of each internship and at the end of each internship. The full team comes together, the intern, the parents, the job mentor, the instructor, all coordinating the data, the input, the evidence that we have that the intern is making progress. And the intern is really responsible for leading those employment planning meetings, middle of each internship and the end of each internship. And then as you can see, as I mentioned, in June, that's where we really kick it into high gear and make sure that we are working with the interns to develop those job opportunities that are going to lead to integrated competitive employment. And there's always a wonderful celebration at the end of the year. And then follow along services and job coaching begin. And we call that Project Search Plus. So although the program officially ends in June, the team is really supporting every intern to help maintain and sustain employment for a period of time well after that. Next slide. So how about the daily schedule? It is robust and it's intended to build endurance and stamina. Interns usually arrive a little bit before the start time to give them time to socialize. It's not all about work. There is time to really get to know their colleagues in their cohort and even spend a little time before work talking with their the colleagues that they've met in different departments. At 8:30, that's when the intern meeting takes place. There's skills instruction from the project search instructor. That lasts for 1 hour. Then the interns leave and go out into their work sites. They're in their work sites in those departments until 11:30 when they have a 30-minute lunch. They can choose to eat lunch, and most do, with their work peers in their departments. They can also make arrangements to meet up with other interns. At 12 o'clock, it's back to the work sites until 2. Then the individuals, the interns, gather again in the dedicated training room that's on site to review, reflect, and plan for the next day. 2:30, they leave for home. Next slide. So I mentioned that we have a dedicated skills training room at every project search site. And we have a very robust employability skills curriculum that Project Search provides. You can take a look at all of the topics that's covered. Obviously, they are not all for employability. They are for success in life as well. Next slide. These 3 10-week internship rotations are able to give interns the opportunity to apply some of those employability skills that they are learning in the training room. Obviously, everyone has some deficits to work on. Those deficits can interfere in work progress as they do in real life. So internships are the cornerstone of the program, giving the interns an opportunity to practice the skills that they've gained in the training room in authentic environments. And what could be more authentic than the workplace? In the process, we do have that extensive skills evaluation so that the department managers, mentors, and instructors are monitoring the progress and sharing that progress at those employment planning meetings. Throughout the year, the big benefit here is that interns are building competitive, marketable, transferable skills that they're able to then take with them when they complete the program. Next slide. And now I believe Eric is going to lead the way.
Okay, thank you guys for having me today and allowing me to present this great program. A little bit background, this is my 7th year as a project search instructor. So what you see here on the screen right now are some examples of the internships. Right now, we have multiple host business sites throughout the state of New Jersey. Some, for example, we have government agencies, some banks, higher learning institutions. Previously, we've had hotels, pharmaceutical environments, and of course, hospitals. These are some of the internships that our interns are able to apply for. Early on, the first rotation, we place the interns based on their skills day assessment. The second and third rotations, they have to interview and are accepted by the managers of that department. So it's also something that we are teaching them real life, resume building, things like that. Next slide, please. Again, just a few more examples of, again, depending on the host site, what opportunities are available. Next slide. Okay, so of course, this is an example of a project search model, a wagon wheel. We consider the interns a spoke in that wheel. We have the project search instructor, we have the skills trainers. We travel with them, we are with them in their departments, we visit them, we offer feedback on as an as-need basis to support them to make sure they are being successful. We also have assigned mentors throughout the internships where they would work side by side, fully immersed. As we know, the two pillars of project search are immersive internships and robust curriculum, which was shared earlier. It takes everyone to make sure these interns are successful, including, parental involvement for the high school and adult programs in Hudson County and throughout the state of New Jersey. Okay, next slide, please. Okay. So the one thing that the skills trainers, the instructors, and the on-site staff try to provide is a systematic skill development. Okay, so when they go into their rotations, the first few days, they are learning 1 or 2 specific skills, right? We don't just throw them in and say, here you go, you have to learn all of these skills by the end of the day, by the end of the week. No, we take a skill, we build upon that skill. Once they show that they can do it independently, we give them another skill, and we continue to build on that until they master these skills, and then that we can move on and that they can basically do these jobs and apply for these positions and be successful. With that being said, we want to use this opportunity as a building block for them. So, it may take one intern, several days to complete a skill. Others may master it in a shorter time. As we know, all of our individuals, interns with disabilities, they learn at different rates, different paces. So we have to provide some accommodations or modifications to build upon these skills. But at the end of the day, mastery, is very important so they can be independent. All right, next slide, please. Okay, so this again, I believe is a video that we are going to share about a young young man working in the pharmaceutical department.
And that's all the packaging for the patient.
So as you can see, he's, packaging some medication. With that being said, obviously when they go into their department, we give them a specific skill, right? So for example, if they were to work in a storeroom, we might show them what the storeroom, we take a walk around the storeroom, what's in the storeroom, let them get acclimated to their environment. We also may, give them a specific task. Okay, so today you're going to label the merchandise. Tomorrow, we'll maybe build on that if you understand that concept. Okay, so each day we're building on the skills they're learning. At the end of the day, we hope that they are gaining these transferable skills that they can use to apply for different positions, whether it be at the host business sites or somewhere else in the community. All right, next slide, please. Okay, so this young man was actually my intern last year, and I'm happy to say that he's going to be hired as a clerk in the Hudson County office. So this young man, Hassan, came to us from West New York last year. And, obviously, like with a lot of interns, there were some things to work on in the beginning of the year. But as the year went on, he showed tremendous growth. He actually won, what I have at my site, we have Interns of the Month. And he actually won the award twice. Here in the pictures, he is answering the phones. He was a front desk clerk. He was a server, a busser. He also helped with presentations, speaking to parents about his involvement in Project Search. He's currently at Hudson Community Enterprises in Jersey City, working there, learning certain skills. He actually had his interview the other day, and I was very more than happy to write a letter of reference for him. I see him, almost every other day because we're up in Journal Square now at the Hudson Community College. He's so punctual. He has to be at work at 8 o'clock. He arrives probably at 6:45. He goes to Dunkin' Donuts, very independent. He travels himself. As you can see, his suit, very sharp looking. I have no doubt that he's going to be extremely successful with his new position. It was my honor and privilege to work with him last year. Okay, next slide.
I'd like to tell you a little bit about Lainey. She was one of our interns at Jefferson Health in Cherry Hill. And when I mentioned about aspirational goals, Lainey had them. She wanted to be a copy editor. And her first internship was in environmental services. So you may say that does not match at all. However, her other aspirational goal was to have her own apartment someday, to live independently. And she had very few independent living skills. She had difficulty with gross motor movement. She was great on the computer and fine motor movements, but those gross motor movements were really difficult for Lainey. So by having her in the environmental services, she really learned to persevere. She had to learn how to make a hospital bed. And it may have taken, half a day to learn how to do it, but she fought with that sheet until she won. In addition, she also learned the idea of sanitizing, keeping things neat and clean. That is not something that she did at home. When she received the letter that she's holding from a patient because she prepared a patient's room so beautifully and was so well done that the patient remarked, "I don't know how long you've worked here, but you made this room absolutely welcoming. So thank you." And she wrote that note. And you can imagine what that did for Lainey, who never thought that she had these skills. In the second rotation, Now she was getting her preference rotation. She was moving into an office skills position in the medical records unit. She was incredible. They planned for about a week's worth of work in advance, which she completed in 1 day. And because she was able to keep that pace, she became invaluable to one of the clusters of physicians that did have a lot of paperwork. She was able in the third rotation to go off-site to this very large practice of Jefferson Health and work as a file clerk. She was also really good at sending emails out to the doctors that she would be given by a manager. She found a lot of grammatical errors, and she used her self-advocacy to point them out in a very diplomatic way and ask, would you like me to fix these grammatical errors? They were shocked and amazed, and they began to give her more things to proofread before they went out. So she has been hired now in the Jefferson Medical Group, where she did her third rotation as a file clerk. She's also gone back to college part-time, completing her associate's degree, getting that degree in English, and now her proofreading, copy editing skills are even better than before, and she uses them every day within that department. The picture in the lower right is her participating in a birthday party thrown in her honor at the physician's practice. They love Lainey because their department was a little bit stuffy. They didn't talk much to one another. When Lainey came and they knew she had autism, they thought we better do our best to encourage social communication. Now the entire department is super friendly, planning a lot of events, and Lainey is the beneficiary, but she's also the spark. Next slide.
Yeah, this is Solo again. Most of you probably know that the objectives of Project Search is for Project Search interns to successfully go through 9 to 10 months internship rotations and gain all the skills that will enable them to obtain and maintain the employment. So Project Search is all about employment. That's what it's all about. Then philosophy of Project Search. People with disabilities have the right to choose a path towards education and employment. However, while freedom of choice is given, the right to work is earned. And then the right to work is dependent upon the student's preparation. That was a great quote from Simon Steven, ADF Quarterly Fall, 1998. That was a great quote. You know, you have to end there. And that's what our interns are doing, going through the program and being very successful. Next slide. Yeah, we have two interns, graduate interns with us. One is Steven. Steven is a 2009 graduate, you know, from the Project Search at the RWJ Barnabas Health, Jesse Series Medical Center, and he works in the patient transport. And the next one is Patricia, which you know. Next slide. That's okay. The next one is Patricia. Patricia is from the Jefferson Health Project Search, 2024 graduate, Battery A, the Panelists Care Center. Let's have Steven say some few words. Steven, please.
All right. Oh, sorry. Hello, everyone. I don't know. Oh, sorry.
You okay, Stephen?
Yes.
All right.
I was just wondering if you guys could hear me.
Yes, no. So whenever you want to talk, just tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about yourself and, you know, your experience.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
No.
So, my name is Stephen Pardal. I'm one of the former Project Search interns. So when I first started Project Search, it was back in the 2018 to 2019 school year. And it was the first project search for Hudson County. And when I started project search, I started with Jersey City Medical Center. And my rotations were mailroom, dietary, and patient transport. And when I did my first rotation in the mailroom, my duties were I had to send mail to all of the departments in the hospital. And then my second duty was I had to prepare the mail by using a mail machine to stamp mail that has to go outside of the hospital. And then I just leave it for when the post office comes to the building. And then with certain documents, I had to make a copy, and then I had to leave it to the floors to sign it. And then also then in my second rotation, which was the dietary, my duties were I had to prepare the meals for the patients, and I had to set it up for the carts on the floors. And then I would sometimes serve their meals to the patients. And then I would do work in the cafeteria, and I'll clean, and then I help out the cafeteria. And then in my third rotation was when I was with patient transport. So with my duties is I would take patients to procedure areas within the whole hospital, and then I'll also send them to the main lobby when they're discharged.
All right, so Stephen, I don't mean to interject or cut you off. Can you just share some of what did you learn from Project Search and your experience of what you're doing now? I'm sorry.
What I've learned from Project Search was it taught me to be more independent and to be more responsible and to travel on time and to be on work on time and maintain a certain workflow.
How long have you worked at the medical center?
I worked for 5 years now.
Okay, so were you there when during COVID?
Yes.
Okay. How was that experience?
It was very hard.
All right, well, I want to thank you for sharing today. I know we want to really keep you. I know you have to get back to work.
Yes.
Again, we appreciate everything that you do. Last year, he was our keynote speaker at our graduation. We are very proud of you, Stephen. Great job.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Stephen. Let's have Patricia too. Patricia from Jefferson Health.
Hi, I'm Patricia, and my experience was when I first started Project Search as an intern. One of the things that we did is take a tour of the hospital and learn about different departments. So the interns then picked their top 3 choices of what departments they wanted to be in. So we interviewed and were picked by managers. And so I was in EVS, which is basically like janitorial work. So I went on each hospital floor and sanitized the chairs, the tables, cleaned bathrooms, swept and mopped floors, and changed the trash. So I then was picked to go to food service. So I restocked the condiments and the plasticware. So I restocked the drinks. In the kitchen, I reviewed the patient's ticket and placed items on each tray. I then delivered the trays to the patient floors. My biggest takeaway was I learned how to use strategies to be faster at what I was doing, like concentrate on one thing at a time. And now I'm working as a dietary aide about 30 hours a week. I set up trays with silverware, napkins, and condiments. I follow the resident's ticket and place a proper drink on the trays. And some of the residents get lactose-free milk or nectar juice, so you have to pay close attention. I also make fruit cups and sandwiches. And last, I deliver the finished trays on a cart to the nurses in each wing. And here's what Project Search has meant to me overall is it was a chance to learn about like different things that you might want to do in the future. Like it was an amazing experience, and I gained friendships and learned how to work with others and learn how to be more independent. And that's my story. So I hope you all.
Thank you, Patricia. This is fantastic. We're so happy for Stephen and Patricia for joining us. And I know, just like Eric mentioned, you're going back to work. So we appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. And this is just, is in the state of New Jersey. We started Project Search back in 2016, and it has grown so much since then. And as we speak, we're working on the alumni and all those things to make sure we have the network for all our graduate interns to connect together and all those things. We're working on that. Then talking about the Project Search national success. This is the data right here, 72% employed, the average of 24 hours per week in terms of, then average of $13.83 per hour. But in New Jersey, that's for the national. In New Jersey, it's more higher. I know we have almost about 15 more, even some people are paying more, but average in New Jersey is about $15 an hour or more than that. So working towards that. Next slide. Yeah, this a whole lot of our interns have been hired. Some of them being hired in the host businesses, and for those who are not actually hired in the host businesses, they are hired in the community. So that's why at certain points in the internship rotations, we have employment planning meetings for the job coach and to start working with the interns and their family. Next slide.
If Amy would be willing to just click, it would scroll the list of companies.
Yeah, can you do that? I haven't seen that yet.
Click on that slide. It should scroll the list of companies. Oh, okay, that's all right. Sorry about that.
Yeah, if you can see that, that's okay. But as I said, our graduates are being hired in different companies across New Jersey, a whole lot of them. So big companies, we're not really, working to find our graduates any kind of job. This is like a career path we're doing for our you can see Stephen and Patricia. They're very confident about themselves and what they're doing. So that's exactly what we do. Therefore, the candidate profile, if somebody actually wants to apply for Project Search, you have to look into, are they under, unemployed or with a desire to work? Are they between the 17 to 35 of age? Ability to take directions, that's very, very important. Ability to change behavior, appropriate hygiene, appropriate social and communication skills, reasonable independence, will benefit from immense work experience. This is something we look at. And how do we do that? We do a whole lot of in terms of interviews, which includes skills assessment too. Next slide, please. enrollment process. Step one, you have to be able to submit application, all required documentation. Very important. There's a deadline always in there. It depends on the sites. You have to be able to participate in skills day assessment, interview, and records. Very important. You have to do that because we have to see you and do some kind of assessment, give you different kind of tasks, see where your skill set are. If you are functioning so high, we have a rubric how we measure the whole thing. If you are functioning so way high, I don't think Project Search is for you. So you have to be in between, probably a certain level in terms of meaning that you need these skills in Project Search for you to be able to obtain and maintain a job. If you can get a job on your own, no, you don't really need Project Search. That's why we have all these skills assessment to see your skills and where you are. And you have to confirm acceptance to participate. A complete onboarding requirement to designated whole business site. Next slide. Who pays for Project Search? All these questions often come all the time. High school program, 18 to 21 years old. Sending school districts, yes, because it's their responsibility. Post-high school program, 18 to 21 years. These are individuals probably out of high school and not eligible for DDD. And what do? We are so glad that in Hudson County, they were able to open this program in Hudson County Community College, where we have this population. They come and get all these skills that will enable them to obtain and maintain a job. So we're so glad to have that. Hudson County did that. That's one we have in the whole entire New Jersey. Then adult program between 21 to 30 years old is through DDD, through their interns' individual budgets. Then eligibility must be eligible for funding through school district and DVRS or through DDD and DVRS. Next slide.
Before we move into questions and answers, I would just like to introduce you to Anthony. Very often, we need to look for strategies that will help each individual thrive and succeed despite whatever obstacles or complications or difficulties they're experiencing in their life. They might need physical and mental health needs. They might have needs for social and emotional support. Sometimes we encounter interns that have food insecurity, and that certainly would impact their performance on the job. And obviously, we are always looking to add accommodations and any type of assessment that will help us better understand what the individual needs on the job and in life. And in that way, Project Search can be life-changing as it was for Anthony. We'll play this video.
Anthony is someone who never expected to make it in life. He always wanted to be a doctor, but school was a struggle, and so was speaking clearly. Plus, his neighborhood was more geared to gangs than gainful employment. But Anthony discovered an innovative spirit to match his heart of gold during a rotation stocking patient rooms in the ER. He installed a translation app on his cell phone to calm an elderly woman who only spoke Russian, impressing the ER manager with his ingenuity and compassion. Anthony is now a full-time essential employee in the ER at Jefferson Health, working alongside doctors and nurses during the COVID crisis.
And I would like one day to move out on my own. Probably married, maybe. No kids, though. Well, Project Search helped me prepare for his job by teaching me more independence and help me get out in the real world, learn new things, and it helped me out a lot. I can say this, Project Search saved my life.
Next slide, please.
Thanks, everybody. This is really great. And if we keep talking about Project Search, you can talk this for months. This presentation is just an overview for real for the audience to know what Project Search is all about. I know we have our panel have spoken, and I know probably you have a whole lot of questions at this point. Any questions for us?
I did see a question, Solo, about the districts and funding from the school districts for an individual who's 18 to 21. That is one of the funding streams, and the only way that an individual with an IEP is able to enter Project Search. They must be referred by their school district, and the school district would pay the Project Search tuition to whichever educational body is running the Project Search program. Sometimes they are actually within public school districts. They might be a private school. In the case of Yale, we are a private school, but that's the funding stream. The school district case manager contacts the educational partner in a given Project Search program. That individual applies to the private school only for the purpose of Project Search, then goes through the Project Search and screening process as well. So it's a dual application process, and it's very streamlined.
That's great. I know some of you have questions. Some of them, if we can answer your questions right here, you can see the information right there. Solo, Okonkwo, and Renee. We are the two state project search liaisons. And you can reach out at the phone number, email. Email is much, much better anyway, so that we don't lose anything. You know, phone call, somebody may lose the call, but email stays there. We'll be so glad to answer your questions. If you need us to come to you or maybe a group to present to your group, we'll be so glad to do that. So for the audience right here, don't just probably take this information and keep it. Please spread this word across New Jersey. Let your group, your family, friends, colleagues at work, let them know you have this unique program called Project Search. As we speak, we have it up closely in about 16 or 11 counties right now, if I'm right. And our goal is to really make sure we have it all the 21 counties in the state, as far as Cape May. That's our goal. That's what we're trying to do. And I would like to thank our panel, our great panel. You did a fantastic job. And of course, the youth conference coordinators. I know a whole lot of you working behind the scene. But I know we know April, we know Amy, who has been exchanging emails. But I know a whole lot of you are behind the scene doing this great. Thank you very much for having us. This is fantastic. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So thank you to all of our presenters. We truly appreciate your time and your expertise. And thank you to everyone in the audience for joining us and being a part of this session. We hope that you learned something valuable and feel inspired on your own hero's journey.